We're live. Well, hello, Tom, and thank you for conducting this interview with me. Let's begin with a simple question.
Yes, sir.
Do you consider yourself a local of this area?
Absolutely. 64 years of it.
Mm-hmm. Were you born here?
Born in Sweetwater Hospital.
Have you lived all 64 years here?
Pretty much. I've lived in Knoxville 2 years, and I lived in Texas for about 3/4 of a year.
All right. Did you stay with your family during those times as you were?
No, I was by myself in the times where I lived away from Monroe County.
All right. So when you were very young, did you have a nice family life?
Oh, I had a great family life. Raised on a farm, raising animals, vegetables.
What kind of animals?
Oh gosh, we had cows, pigs, rabbits, horses, mules.
No, you still raise some of those animals, don't you?
Absolutely.
Are there any animals that you raise that you're particularly fond of? Chickens. What do you like about chickens?
They're docile, they're interesting to watch, they're always fun.
All right, and you mentioned peacocks as well.
Oh yeah, I love my peacocks, love the sounds they make and the beauty of them.
I believe I visited your property before and I've seen them all up in the tree.
Absolutely.
That's what you like about them. All right, so let's go back to your family life. So, would you say it had a strong effect on you as you grew up?
Absolutely. I had a most wonderful mom and had a strong personality character for a father.
Would you like to talk about either of your parents?
Well, like I say, Mom was extremely loving. Everybody that met her said she was just a wonderful person. Never heard her say a harsh word to anybody. She was in sales, a big part of my life. Sold a World Book Encyclopedia, and I got to travel with her when I was real small and listen to her and watch her interact with people. She told me a story about when she was a little girl that she had spent a couple of weeks in the summer with her cousins, and they would come down for breakfast one by one and sit around the table and wait for the father. And when the father finally got there, then they'd have prayer, and as each one would come in, they'd hug and kiss each other. And she said it just broke her heart because her family wasn't like that. Mm-hmm. So she said she was bound and determined. She was bound and determined to raise her family loving, and I think she did a pretty good job.
All right, I would think so. Seemed like a personable fella. Did your mother have any hobbies outside of just her work?
Not really, just church and work and taking care of family. I guess family was her biggest hobby.
I appreciate that. What about your father?
My dad was a businessman, a construction worker, and a comedian, and just kind of a rough fellow around the edges sometimes. Like I say, most of my memories of my dad were of him being very strong speaking. He was a little harsh sometimes.
No interruptions.
Oh, no problem. And like I say, I always felt that I was definitely not his favorite child.
That's unfortunate.
Very.
Well, did you have other siblings?
There were 4 boys and 2 girls. So
you were one of the
brothers.
boys, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had 3 brothers and 2 sisters.
And did you get along well?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I got along with everybody.
What was life like growing up in this community when you were?
Well, like I say, it's a little rural community. We lived about 1.5 miles from the church that my mom and dad had helped to build before I was born, and everybody helping everybody, just a great little community.
Right. How has the community changed, in your opinion, as you've grown up?
Most of the people that were there have moved off. The neighbors right next to me still live there, but most of the neighbors have moved off, have gone different directions. The small farms have become larger, and some of the farms have become residential, so there's housing on it now instead of farm.
Right. you think of it as a positive change in what you've seen? Do you have thoughts on the way the community's going?
It's grown positive. The larger farms are doing quite well. The small farms, like I said, they just kind of died out. Nobody can make it as a small farmer anymore. But if it's a nice home, it's a very positive thing. But if it's someplace that's just staying tore up all the time, it's probably not a good positive situation.
I understand you. Well, it seems that you gained a lot from your family as you were growing up.
I think so.
And you said your mother was religious.
Oh yeah, very. And my dad was most of my life. And, oh gosh, I guess I was in the 6th grade. When I was in the 6th grade, he quit going to church because he said there were hypocrites in our church and he wasn't going back. But I still feel like he was a man of faith and believed, that he was saved and going to heaven, but he was just rough. Mom's religious. She believed God was capable of anything. Even though we were Baptists, she would often say, don't count God out on anything, because his power, he can do anything he wants to do. And if somebody tells you they've seen a miracle, then just trust and believe that they did.
All right. Are you still Baptist?
No, I'm probably what you call a Baptist-Costal, Catholic, Protestant
person
kind of guy.
Non-denominational, maybe.
Non-denominational, absolutely.
Right. In the community you've grown up in, have you become more active as you've gone on? I know you do a lot of stuff right now. Has that always been the case?
Pretty much. I mean, as a small child, I can remember taking a salesman. He came into the area and he was asking where certain people lived, and I'd chime in and tell him where they lived, and he's like, asked my mom. Like I said, I was probably 5, 6 years old. He said, would you care if I took your son with me today and let him show me where all these houses are? And so I worked with him a whole day, showing him just where people lived. As far as community,
you'll have to deal with this, Professor.
yeah. As far as community active work, I've always worked with churches and worked with youth groups. Anything I could get involved in, I pretty much did.
All right. Now, what are some of the things you do right now? Because I know you work at an airport, as is evidenced by this recording. You're an animal control officer.
Right.
What else are you, or have you done recently?
That's the bulk of my work. Animal control takes a vast majority of it. I work 7 days a week because there's so much neglect in our area. The airport usually takes a good 6 to 7 hours a day, and but then outside of that, I still go to church, still try to help when I can.
Why do you work at the airport?
It's actually a job, but I have learned to love it and appreciate it and see how it can help the community, help our county grow. It's called the gateway to a community because people fly in that ordinarily wouldn't come to this area, but flying, they'll stop here, and we keep our fuel prices low, and we keep a nice, friendly, open, hospitable atmosphere.
I'll say that's true.
Absolutely.
It's cozy in here.
Cozy. Try to make people comfortable when they come in. We tell them, well, now that you've been here once, you're home, so just come on back and make yourself at home anytime. And I tell them about all the things in our area to do and see, and so we've had several people return just upon my recommendations.
That's good. You're supporting your community in that sense.
Absolutely. I believe in tourism. I believe in tourism, and just like that radio, that's called radio traffic. And 5 years ago, I was here 3 weeks and we didn't have a single plane in or out. And now we'll have 20, 30 a day average.
What do you say is causing that change, that improvement?
I think it's just developing the atmosphere of helping each other and welcoming people and getting our fuel prices down low. We've got 300 people or more that have expressed interest in having a hangar here at Monroe County. I've got 70 on the list that would move in within a month if I told them I had hangar space for them.
I've seen plans for expanding the airport. How would that tie into the new hangars? What schedule do you guys have for something like that?
Hopefully within 4 years we should have an additional 40 additional hangars added to the Monroe County Airport.
How many do you have right now?
Right now we've got 20 hangars and 10 in the community hangar, about 12 on the runway, so we've got around 48 planes.
So you can double your
yeah,
population of planes. I don't know how you'd word
we'll
that.
actually double or triple within the next 5 years, I think.
That'd be nice to see.
Yeah.
Well, so much for the airport. I know there's a lot more you could talk about all day on it. What about animal control? That's it. You say that's the other thing you spend a lot of time doing.
Animal control, I've been working on a licensing program that everybody in Monroe County would be required to have a license for their dogs, because I see so much abuse and so much neglect. The way I've explained it to the commissioners and to the new mayor is that if people cannot afford to have a license for their animal, they probably can't afford an animal, because animals do require vet care. Of course, the minimal, I'm calling it the Minimal Care Act, which is water, shelter, and food. But animals need attention, they need care, and I see a lot of them that don't get it.
So it sounds like you feel very strongly about this.
Oh, I feel very strongly, because our animals, Mahatma Gandhi said, you can tell the nature of a nation by the way they care for their animals. And I kind of believe that.
All right. Well, you take care of your animals pretty well, as
Try
I do.
to.
I've seen it. Well, what are the prospects looking like, if you'd like to talk about it, trying to get your act through?
Right now I've got about 100 names on the list, and I've really not even finished drawing it up. But as I tell people about it, they're like, well, put me down. And so I've got a little list I've started a few weeks ago, and so, I'd like to get it up about 2,000, 3,000 names, and then turn it in to the commissioners.
What exactly is the process you need to do?
The first thing is just get approval that there's a vast majority of the people that would like to see it happen. And part of the reason for doing it is to give us some teeth in our animal control program, so that when we go into a place, if they're not taking care of their animals, we have laws in place that will protect them. Because it's like I tell people, if you've not had a problem with your animal, there's no problem. But once we have a problem, then we have to address it and do something.
All right.
Just like Tennessee has a animal containment, everybody's required to keep their animals on their own property. And if you don't do that, then you're responsible for any damages they do, whether it's biting a person or tearing something up or whatever. And I explain that to people. I say, most animals we don't have a problem with. And your animal's running loose, there's not a problem. But when somebody calls in a complaint, then we have to address it.
Would you say that you care so much about this because of your upbringing, raising animals and
Possibly.
living with them?
Possibly. Because growing up, I probably had several hundred pets of my own.
Well, let's wrap up with this next question.
All right.
We've got a little bit of time under our belt. It's obvious that you know the people that are in charge in the area. You're in constant contact with them, probably because you deal with this airport. Who do you know, or what are your relationships with some of the people that run the community?
Oh, gosh. Well, like I say, the sheriff, commissioners, the powers that be, all the mayors, I know most all of them personally. Even though it's a large county, It's one of the largest in the state. I think there's 49,000 residents in Monroe County, 649 square miles. So it's a large area, but we're one of the underpaid per capita in the state also. It's, like I said, it's a big county, a lot of people, but just not a lot of money. So everybody's hopefully trying to help each other. And I'm working on an initiative called Grow Monroe, which is helping to help our children to have a better outlook, to have ownership in the county and in the things that they see, and take pride in Monroe County.
So, trying to pass an act for taking care of animals, and you have the initiative you just mentioned. Are there any other movements that you're trying to start or that you're a part of that you'd like to share?
Well, as far as the airport, today we had a big discussion in Knoxville about I would like to get aviation in our school system in Monroe County. Monroe County, like I said, it's an underprivileged area, so we have a lot of kids that don't have a lot of money, but if we could get aviation in the schools, aviation jobs pay very, very well. So that would help the kids. I mean, they might have to move off, they might go to other places, but we have an airport here that's active, and they're going to need mechanics, they're going to need pilots, they're going to need avionics, people that can work on electronics, training. We've got 35 students in our school right now, so.
Well, we're going to keep in touch, I know, for the next ever, so
yeah.
I hope to see a lot of these things come to pass, and we'll talk about them in the future.
All right.
So, the last thing I would like from you, I'm about to pause the recording, and then afterward, I would like you to read a word list.
Okay.
You'll just introduce 2 word lists, so word list 1, and then all the words thereafter, and the same with the second one. That's it. Then we'll pause this recording, and
Excellent.
you'll be done with your time today.
Okay, word list 1. Feel, pin, oil, hollow, fish bait, wash, help, feel, potato, life, pin, thorough, feel, follow, get, red, old lace, fire, fail, home, hit, wire, feet, doing, okra, greasy, mining, tobacco, fell, lice. Word list 2, lot, thought, prize, bull, poor, pin, choice, toll, ball, pour, trap, dress, club, fight, fought, test, hand, nothing, this, morning, often, trimmed, clasp, cost, risk, story, ask, tow, fault, and grasp. And then if I did it in my colloquial words, I'd say pan, feel, oil, hollow, fish bait, wash, help, feel, potato, life, pan, thorough, fail, follow, get, red, old lace, far, fail, home, hit, fire, feet, doing, okra, greasy, mining, tobacco, fail, and lice. That word list 2, that's lot, thought, prize, bowl, pour, pan, choice, toll, ball, pour, trap, dress, club, thing, fault, test, hand, nothing, this, morning, often, trimmed, clasp, caught. Risk, story, ask, tow, fault, and grasp. Did I do good?
Yes, that was unnecessary, but very much appreciated.